Yo, Big Kish back up in here. They said UMG is dragging Drake in the courtroom. They said they said they spanking him in that courtroom, man. We got Spotlight giving us the info on UMG just cooked Drake in court. This was brutal. And we're going to go over after this video, so y'all stay locked in. We're going to go over how Drake is making it where as though that you can't make diss tracks no more. The same thing that hip-hop was built off of, that combat. That, you know what I'm saying, that verbal combat, what it's built up of. But before we get into that, I'm going to leave a link in the description for the video. Y'all go cop the new book that I just written and just published, Street Dad, Geek Dad, Avoiding the Manufactured Mindset. Young fathers need this book, and people that's trying to do better in life could read this book. It's a great read. It's a self-help book also as well. Not just for dads, but you know what I'm saying? It is going to benefit them or not. This is what we need in the community, y'all. So y'all please go pick up y'all copies. The link is in the description right down below, along with the merch and the video and everything else. But I'm going to leave a link in the description. I already said that. Y'all know I'm like holding y'all. Without further ado, let's get it.
He wasted no time in responding to Drake. They dismissed his claims as baseless and illogical. They pointed out that they have heavily invested in Drake's career and have no incentive to harm his reputation. Their statement highlights the fact that Drake has thrived on diss tracks and public feuds for years. For him to now turn around and attack Kendrick for doing the same
Drake's legal campaign, widely viewed as one of the most confusing episodes in recent hip-hop history, continues to spiral downward. Following weeks of speculation and vague updates surrounding his lawsuit over Kendrick Lamar's track, Not Like Us, UMG has now issued a formal response. Their filing is clear, direct, and sharply critical of Drake's approach. With this new motion to dismiss, the tone from UMG is unflinching, revealing just how little patience they have left for the claims brought forward.
Drake's record label, Universal Music Group, has moved to dismiss his lawsuit over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us, arguing that the case is simply a response to Drake losing their rap battle. The label, which represents both artists, claims the lawsuit.
How could you sit up there and accuse somebody and sue somebody over the same thing that you was doing? Well, let's just say it was because of UMG pushed the Not Like Us track. They could say the same thing for you. Same thing, bro. I don't get your logic, B. Word is bond, boy.
Lawsuit has no real basis and is just fallout from their rivalry.
What makes this moment particularly striking is the way UMG's latest legal documents read less like a corporate rebuttal and more like a lyrical takedown. Their motion not only targets the legal weaknesses in Drake's case, but also appears to mock the rationale behind it, comparing the lawsuit's substance to little more than an overreaching attempt to silence a cultural moment. This filing could represent a significant turning point. It casts serious doubt over Drake's chances of gaining traction with the court, while reinforcing the industry's broader shift toward defending artistic expression, even when it stings. UMG has officially called out Drake's legal maneuvering, framing it as nothing more than a public meltdown over an unfavorable outcome. In their latest court filing, UMG wasted no time outlining what they describe as an emotional overreaction to a cultural loss. Their motion opens by stating that rather than standing behind the original complaint, Drake has shifted positions and restructured his claims in an attempt to salvage a weak case.
Drake, who being King Karen, is suing UMG for promoting Kendrick's stuff when you got your 70 million views from promising 25 cents to anybody that can get 1,000 views. Drake bought his streams. He bought his views. The people don't even
and there's people coming out and saying that. But what about when you was kicking Meek Mill in the dirt? Meek took what he had to take and he kept it moving. Meek took what he took and he kept it moving. No Diddy. You know what I'm saying?
Like the song, or maybe they do.
Accept your L, go back in the studio, get back on your horse, do what you do.
UMG's legal team points directly to Drake's revised complaint, filed after their initial motion to dismiss. They note that on March 17, 2025, Drake dropped previously false allegations, instead adding new grievances centered around Kendrick Lamar's live performance of Not Like Us at Super Bowl 59 on February 9, 2025. UMG's argument is that this shifting narrative undermines the lawsuit's credibility, portraying it as a disjointed reaction to ongoing public criticism.
Then he goes on to say, yeah, I'm not suing Kendrick Lamar directly. I'm suing UMG. Might as well. Everybody already looking at you funny. We already looking at you funny. We already done ostracize you. At first, you know what I'm saying, you had the love of the people. At first, it was like, oh, that's Drake, yeah, from Degrassi. Oh, the females like, oh, you know, we going to give him some pity. You know what I'm saying? We going to give him some little charity. That's what we going to do. You know what I'm saying? Oh, but then you start acting up. You start letting your insecurities seep out. Yeah, we see it. That's the Sandra side of him. It's all coming out of his pores. It's all coming out his pores.
From Grammy references to Super Bowl moments, UMG asserts that Drake is now grasping at cultural events in hopes of bolstering a failing legal position. Their brief calls Drake's latest claims astonishing, which in legal terms serves as a pointed rebuke, nearly mocking the argument while maintaining professional tone. As the case unfolds, UMG's approach continues to position the lawsuit as both baseless and reactionary, undermining the core of Drake's legal strategy. Drake faces even more setbacks as UMG highlights the contradictions within his own legal arguments. According to the label's motion, Drake's latest claims are not
with all them shoulder pads and stuff, trying to make himself look big. Look, we're walking around like Tizo, nigga. Let's walk around like Tizo. Man, get out of here, man.
Not only disorganized, but also conflict with earlier statements, suggesting there is no cohesive strategy behind the lawsuit. Instead, UMG argues the intent appears solely to discredit Kendrick Lamar's success with Not Like Us. They emphasize this by stating that, as Drake himself concedes, Lamar's Super Bowl performance did not include the lyric alleging Drake or his associates are certified, which is the central claim of defamation in the suit.
He wasted no time in responding to Drake. They dismissed his claims as baseless and illogical. They pointed out that they have heavily invested in Drake's career and have no incentive to harm his reputation. Their statement highlights the fact that Drake has thrived on diss tracks and public feuds for years. For him to now turn around and attack Kendrick for doing the same
UMG further explains that Drake's argument now...
Man, Kendrick took his time, waited his turn. It's his turn. Ain't nobody tell you to pop your head out and respond. You ain't responding all the other times. Why you responding now? You should have just stayed there doing what you was. I think you said he was about to go on vacation or something like. You should have did that. You should have did that. You was already about to go on vacation. You was already about to take a little break. Now you're mad at Dot because he. Now you mad at Kung Fu Kenny.
Now revolves around the idea that the largest Super Bowl halftime audience in history did not hear Lamar make the specific claim Drake is contesting. In UMG's view, this essentially exposes the lawsuit's true motivation, not defamation, but an attempt to undermine the artistic and commercial momentum of the rapper who defeated him. The filing concludes with a firm call for dismissal, branding the revised complaint as meritless. Adding to the blow, UMG openly mocks the foundation of Drake's case, noting that he relies heavily on sources like fan pages, individuals with no legal or factual authority on the matter. For a case of this magnitude, the use of fan-generated content as supporting evidence undermines the seriousness of the claim. It is a rare instance of a music label effectively ridiculing one of its top artists in official court documents, showcasing how far the dispute has spiraled and how isolated Drake's position has become. UMG's legal response continues to dismantle Drake's case by highlighting the lack of credible evidence supporting his claims. In their motion, they note, the comments cited in Drake's complaint make this point. Slang and emojis, and authored by sources such as fan accounts. This detail reinforces UMG's position that the evidence is not only unreliable, but inappropriate for a legal proceeding of this scale. Each page of the document gradually reveals the structural weakness of Drake's argument and points clearly toward an inevitable dismissal. More importantly, UMG takes direct aim at what they portray as Drake's hypocrisy. They point out that Drake is pursuing legal action over lyrics from...
Bro, once this case is over and he lose, he ain't got nothing else to hold on to. He gonna have to be down with top 5 and doing them little tactics and all of that stuff.
Kendrick Lamar, despite previously making inflammatory lyrical claims himself, particularly in his own diss record, Family Matters. UMG argues that if the lyrics in Not Like Us are deemed defamatory, then Drake's lyrics about Kendrick's family would warrant similar scrutiny. In essence, the filing suggests that Drake is attempting to apply a double standard, only raising legal objections now that he is on the losing side of a public feud. In a more damaging revelation, UMG reminds the court that less than 3 years ago, Drake signed a public petition denouncing the use of rap lyrics as literal evidence in legal trials.
Yep.
That petition condemned the trend of using artists' creative expressions against them, especially within the hip-hop genre. UMG quotes,
"Thug make you feel like you was slime in your head. Yeah, I thought you was a G. I thought you was a G. You signing paperwork, no, rappers' lyrics should not be used against them in court. You signed it. You was down with it. No rapper should be, no rapper's lyrics should be used against them. Remember, Drake? Remember? Uh-huh."
Drake's own stance, stating, "The final work is a product of the artist's vision and imagination." This contradiction further undercuts the legal foundation of Drake's complaint and paints the case as reactionary rather than substantive. UMG delivered a pointed conclusion in their motion, stating, "Drake was right then and is wrong now." They argued that the complaint against UMG amounts to nothing more than Drake's effort to salvage his public image after a failed rap battle with Kendrick Lamar. UMG emphasized that Drake's actions contradict the very principles he previously supported, principles that helped fellow artists defend their creative expression when lyrics were being used against them in court. By referencing past advocacy efforts where Drake condemned using rap lyrics as factual evidence, UMG revealed how his current lawsuit opposes the same artistic freedoms he once endorsed. The filing asserts that Drake's motivations appear reactive, stemming more from personal embarrassment than genuine legal merit. This contradiction, they argue, exposes a clear...
AKA he's being spiteful. He's trying to be spiteful.
Clear inconsistency in his position and undermines the credibility of his claims. The motion draws attention to Drake's silence on this shift, noting that he has yet to offer any meaningful explanation. This silence, according to UMG, reinforces the notion that the lawsuit lacks substance and is more about optics than justice. The legal team further frames Drake's actions as a calculated pivot, intended to retaliate against the overwhelming cultural success of Kendrick Lamar's diss track, Not Like Us. However, the situation escalates even further. UMG took Drake's own argument centered on Kendrick performing Not Like Us and turned it back on him more directly than ever before. Instead of simply defending their client, they strategically held a mirror to Drake's contradictions, using his own history and public stances to dismantle his narrative. UMG continued their argument by directly calling out what they see as selective storytelling from Drake's legal team. They pointedly state that nowhere in the more than 100 pages of legal commentary filed by Drake's attorneys is there any mention of the artist's own history of crafting widely successful songs featuring equally provocative lyrical taunts aimed at other performers. Nor is there any acknowledgement that it was Drake who initiated this exchange through his own diss records. The filing highlights what UMG characterizes as a deliberate omission, where Drake's lawyers portray him as a victim in a creative dispute while ignoring his active participation in the same form of performative expression, rap battles built on lyrical competition and poetic provocation. This, they argue, undermines the entire basis of his claim. According to UMG, Drake seeks protection from defamation for engaging in a practice he himself has long utilized to maintain relevance and dominance in the music industry. By pointing out these inconsistencies, UMG frames the lawsuit as an attempt to rewrite history, one that deliberately withholds essential context to manipulate the narrative. The legal team contends that Drake is presenting only half of the story, aiming to control public perception and cast himself as a target rather than as a participant in an artistic exchange that he willingly entered.
He's playing victim. He's not the victim. He wants some sympathy now because he got his whooped. That's why. He's playing victim. Dot don't wore him out that bad. No, stand on business. We thought you was the What happened to all that, bruh? What happened to all that? What happened, huh?
Throughout the filing, UMG not only challenges Drake's credibility, but holds up a mirror to the broader implications of his lawsuit. Legal experts following the...
Hey, look, that's why I said, man, UMG got that bag, bro. They ain't about to send no little petty court-appointed lawyers out there, man. These lawyers been out, they've been fighting for artists and all that stuff for years before you even came into the game. When you was in before you was in Sandra womb, boy, wordy bond, boy. They been in the courts, man. Who you think you're like, yeah, my legal team. Your legal team is trash. Your legal team is trash, trust me. Matter of fact, they bagged so long, your legal team could get brought out behind closed doors. Hey, we're going to offer you guys, what do you want? What's Drake paying you? He's paying you $5 million? Okay, we'll give you $20 million a piece. Okay, you just make some mistakes during the trial. All right, we good. Ain't nothing, man. Ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. Or they might make you feel like you winning. Let you win. Then later on, you already know how it turned out. You end up, Champagne Pissy. They found him in the hotel rooms. Yeah, man. Yup. Then they gonna pull up an old video when you had the afro with the purple shirt, talking about you got that fent. You remember? Yeah, they'll do you dirty. I'm telling you, they'll do you dirty like that. Yeah, we have the video of him saying that he has the fent, and that's what happened. He's done. They'll do you like that, boy. You better stop. You barking up the wrong tree.
The case note that if a figure like Drake, with considerable influence, were to succeed in setting a precedent where diss tracks or competitive lyrics could be litigated as defamation, the long-standing traditions of artistic rivalry in hip-hop and music would be jeopardized. The stakes of this legal battle now extend beyond a single artist feud. The outcome could reshape the way creators engage with satire, parody, and criticism in their work. If successful, Drake's claims could potentially open the door to lawsuits over lyrics, verses, or content that challenge, mock, or push artistic boundaries, setting a dangerous example for how art is interpreted and restricted in the future.
Y'all know comedy rap exists well. There's all different types of genres of rap. So that you can't do that's not going to work, man.
Now, as this legal drama unfolds, it has become increasingly clear to the broader industry and cultural observers that the core issue at hand is not just a lawsuit, it's a direct challenge to the foundational principles of musical expression. Drake, after facing defeat in a lyrical battle he initiated, appears unwilling to accept the creative consequences, opting instead to reshape the conversation through the courts. As pressure mounts, the legal weight of his arguments is beginning to collapse. The hope now is that this case may be dismissed before further damage is done, before the already messy situation escalates further, and before lasting harm is inflicted on artistic freedom. With each new motion and every counter filed by UMG, the weaknesses in Drake's position continue to emerge, leaving many to question how far he's truly willing to go. In the meantime, the industry watches closely. Outside of the most unwavering supporters who refuse to view this issue objectively, most observers are beginning to recognize the far-reaching implications of Drake's legal actions. The heart of the matter lies in the precedent this sets, not just for hip-hop, but for all music genres where lyrical creativity often involves satire, confrontation, and critical commentary. At this point, one has to wonder how Drake maintains his position in an industry founded on expression, especially among peers who value the very essence of creative integrity.
He don't value the integrity. He don't value it. That's why he say, especially among peers who value the integrity. He don't value it. That's why it's so easy for him to introduce hip-hop to filing lawsuits now. We never heard of this, man. We ain't never had this done before, man. But here you go with your little bows and barrettes, thinking you Lil Yachty.
His actions have cast a shadow over the culture of lyrical competition, replacing it with legal strategy and deflection. As the ripple effects of this continue to surface, both within the music world and the legal system, it is only a matter of time before the full impact on Drake's reputation becomes unavoidable. Until then, all eyes remain on the courtroom, where one of the most transparent, flimsy, and contradictory legal claims in music history may soon come to its inevitable conclusion. As the legal standoff between Drake and UMG intensifies, the broader music community is beginning to respond in more public, critical ways. Independent artists, producers, and executives are weighing in, not just on the absurdity of Drake's lawsuit, but on the dangerous precedent it could set if allowed to move forward. Legal scholars and music industry veterans are now openly cautioning that this case, if successful, could fundamentally reshape how lyrical content is interpreted in courtrooms, opening the door for censorship masked as litigation. The chilling effect is already being discussed. Writers' rooms are starting to question what can and cannot be said in a diss track. Labels are reportedly advising clients to dial back provocative lyrics. Even concert footage is being reviewed before release. And all of this stems from one lawsuit that many view as...
Now everything got to go through a filter. Everything's going to potentially, if Drake win and he introduce all this stuff, everything's going to potentially have to go through a filter. Oh, could this get approved? You're going to come out with a rap album. You got to go through. Could this get approved? No, you're going to have to change that part right there where it seemingly sound like you talking about somebody right there. You got to change that. This is the new Drake. This is the new Drake thing that's going on. He started this. Champagne Pissy himself.
As little more than a reaction to losing a rap battle. While Drake's fan base continues to defend his motives, it's becoming increasingly clear that this is about more than just reputation. It's about control over narrative, culture, and the line between art and litigation. For UMG, this is no longer just a case about a single song. It's a statement to the entire industry that weaponizing the courts over creative losses won't go unchecked. And as that message gets louder, the silence from Drake's camp only grows. With this much at stake, the outcome of the next few hearings could change not just how artists fight battles, but whether they're allowed to fight them at all. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, tensions are reportedly growing inside Drake's own circle. Multiple insiders suggest that members of OVO's legal and management teams are split over how to proceed. Some believe doubling down on the lawsuit risks irreparable damage to both Drake's credibility and future industry partnerships. Others feel it's too late to backtrack without admitting defeat. This internal division is beginning to leak out as even formerly supportive allies are keeping their distance, unsure of where the fallout might land. Streaming platforms and radio programmers have remained silent, but some analysts note that hesitation around supporting contentious legal battles involving free speech could influence future placements. Industry watchdogs are watching closely. tracking whether Drake's brand power will weather this level of public scrutiny. UMG's countersuit documentation, complete with receipts and cultural references, has put a new spotlight on the growing pushback, and at the heart of it all is the question of integrity. The hip-hop community thrives on confrontation.
Everybody trying to go get back to their family, chill with their children in the living room, eat their popcorn, sit down, put the blanket on the floor, in front of the fireplace, watch a little TV, cuddle up with the wife and, with the children. Everybody trying to do that but Drake. Everybody trying to chill with their family but Drake. He the only one that want to be out in the clubs, want to be in the bathrooms, writing on the walls, and ordering all these type of little different wines and pouring wine on people's head and all that. This dude is wilding.
Storytelling and creative edge. But when one of its biggest names uses litigation to challenge the very culture he helped shape, it strikes a nerve. Whether this is a momentary miscalculation or the beginning of lasting damage remains to be seen. With court decisions looming and Kendrick Lamar's cultural dominance still resonating, the next chapter may decide far more than the outcome of a single case. It may determine how the entire genre evolves in a legal system that's watching closer than ever. And with all of this laid out, what do you think about?
Nah, what y'all think, man? What do y'all think, man? Do y'all think that they're going to proceed with this for him to allow these people to come out with new laws, new rules, to say that you can't talk about people no more on songs? Because if they do that, that's hip-hop. They going to let one little guy mess up hip-hop like that? I hope not. Then I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Them labels going to be done. That label stuff going to be done. People going to start come out with mixtapes again. People going to start going back to the basics, putting the mixtapes in their trunk and selling them out like that. Like, who? Them people ain't about to tell me who I could talk about, who I can't talk about. There you go. Boop, boop, boop. You know what I'm saying? Mixtape joint in the trunk. That's how we going to start having to do it. Because, ain't nobody about to be making no decisions on nobody albums like that. Dictate nothing. For real. Y'all let me know what y'all think. The link going to be in the description. The link going to be in the description for the new book, Street Dad, Geek Dad, Avoiding the Manufactured Mindset. Written by Big Kish. Y'all please go support, man. Please, this my baby. Y'all please go support, man. Y'all don't do nothing. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. You know what I mean? That's good enough support. If you could like and subscribe, if you ain't got the means, by any means, just like and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Big Kish signing out. I'm going, y'all.